Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video and welcome to round 3 of our F225 Leo Fornaroli career mode. Yes, we return this weekend here to Saudi Arabia, to the Jeddah Corniche, and one of the fastest and wildest circuits in Formula 2. Of course, if you missed out on the videos that went live last weekend from Bahrain, I would highly recommend going back and checking them out. We got our first big points of the year on the board. We're now up to 3rd place overall in the Drivers' Championship. Arvid Lindblad still leading the way, a handful of points clear after being on the podium in both feature races so far this year. Will he be able to continue that momentum as the young Red Bull man wants to try and make his way into Formula 1? What will we be able to do? Can we try and chalk up our first victory of the season as well? Only time will tell. Of course, if you're new and you aren't already, please do make sure you hit that sub button. We are closing in on 150,000 here at the moment. As well, if you want early access to future videos from this series, click the join button. It costs just £1 a month. Like I said, you get early access as well as a few other little perks. But yeah, without further ado though, it's time for one-shot qualifying here in Jeddah. Well, here we are then, ready for one-shot qualifying on what has got to be one of the most difficult circuits in the world to try and get a lap hooked up. Let's see what we can do today though. I want to try and get a lap nailed. This has historically been a good circuit for me in both Formula 1 and Formula 2. And hopefully we will keep that momentum going this weekend as well. There is Victor Martins immediately rocketing off into an early lead as we dive our way down in towards the S's. Of course, unlike in Formula 1, a lot of the corners around here aren't easy flat. But especially in qualifying, low fuel, obviously super soft tyres as well. Surely it's going to be as close as it possibly can be. There is a small snap as the rear end tried to break free. Nothing a bit of power can handle though, as down braking in towards turn 12. Hug that wall on the inside there, but not getting on the throttle as early as I needed to on the exit. Of course, Leo Fornaroli, one of his best characteristics this year, has just been constant good qualifying sessions. Make sure you're in the top 10. And obviously, we managed to pick up some good points last weekend from doing exactly that. Currently sat in P11 though on the live timing. So as long as we try and find one more spot, that'll be key here come the end of the session, is trying to tip the car in, keep it inside track limits though, as we make our way down in towards the final corner. We are up in that all-important 10th spot at the moment, but it looks like the AI have just got a little less downforce than me, so we're going to have to be brave on the brakes. Down in towards this final corner, tip the car in, hope that we get a good run on the exit. I think we're going to be agonisingly close, but I think as we make the run towards the line, it is only going to be P11 here. Oh, that is brutal. Half a tenth of a second then, that is the difference between us starting tomorrow's sprint race from pole or starting it from P11 there. Victor Martins, though, brilliant lap to put himself up on pole position ahead of Rafael Villagomez. Rotoma Miata in 3rd, just ahead of Crawford and Amory Cordeal. But I'm noticing a lack of obviously Arvid Lindblad there. Yep, there we go, all the way down in P20. So Lindblad has had an absolute disastrous qualifying session, only quicker than Max Esterson and Dino Beganovic, who must have also made a mistake. Of course, who is 2nd in the championship? Kush Maini at the moment as well. So he's not starting inside the top 10 either. So both of our top 2 are starting way down the order. So there's still an opportunity we take some points out of them.
So today, the sprint race, no pit stops, just full on pace. It's all about speed, daring, and sheer driving skill. What, I wonder, is in store for us today? So let's examine the Jeddah Street circuit. As you can see, this has the potential to be a very challenging track for our young F2 drivers. We'll get a good chance to see which of them have been able to best capitalise on their time spent here in practice earlier this weekend. And like the other street circuits on the calendar, the lack of runoff is going to make sections of this track very punishing if the drivers get it wrong. Let's hope we avoid having to bring out the safety car this time around. Welcome to the Formula 2 commentary box. I'm Alex Jakes. Alex Brundle joins us as ever for this. Alex, it's a sprint race. How's the format change going to affect the mentality of the drivers?
Try to leave reverse in the pit lane if you possibly can. You do not want to be going backwards from the front row of the grid. This is the moment where some drivers are able to snatch points they won't be able to later on.
Well, here we are then down on the grid, ready for the sprint race first of all. And hopefully, obviously, we can try and get a good race under our belt. We only need to gain, 3 spots if I want to gain some points from this one. And, well, you know, not starting inside the top 10 is disappointing, but of course, especially with Kush Miney and Arvid Lindblad further down the order, there is still an opportunity that we can close in the World Championship. Ready, though, on the grid, waiting on those 5 red lights here in Jeddah. And the Saudi sprint is go, go, go. And immediately then we've had it off to a pretty good start. Trying to go past Victor Marsans immediately into turn 1. We might even have a look down the inside. Oh, Rafael Villagomez as well. Just to try to avoid locking at the fronts there, accidentally cut across the Mexican. But we will make it up then into P9 immediately. So a pretty good start then in this race as they wind their way in through Sector 1, I believe. Yeah, Gabriele Mini at the front of the order. But look at that already. Trying to look around the outside of Ratomo Miatu. Gives me a big old squeeze. But we will say thank you very much nonetheless. Careful over the curbing on the outside there. It's not as bad as it is in the Formula 1 machines. For some reason, the ride height on these F2 cars seems to be a lot more forgiving. So obviously, if you want some setups, of course, Matt212 Racing, there's a link down in the description as always, if you want some setups for these machines. But Gabriele Mini then trying to build up an early lead at the front of the order. Disappointing to see as well, Roman Stanek unable to put his car inside the top 10 in qualifying. So once again, we might have to try and lead the charge for an Invicta. This is one of the longest circuits we will head to in FIA Formula 2, so only 10 laps for today's sprint race as well. So really doesn't feel like it's going to be that long at all. But I do kind of enjoy, especially for a weekend when there's a Grand Prix on, these kind of shorter bite-sized videos. Hopefully you guys are enjoying them as well there. But yeah, you can obviously see at the front of the order, Ollie Goethe maybe just starting to get a little bit disconnected, unable to keep up with John Bennett just in front of him. Amri Cordial, though, obviously barely scored any points IRL this season, but running up in 6th right now. But we definitely don't quite have as much straight line speed as the AI, so I mean, we've definitely got a lot more bite through the corners, though, a lot of confidence in this F2 car. And look at that, immediately then getting a run to the outside of Jack Crawford, of course, one of Leo's real-life championship rivals. Late on the brakes, though, hoping the camber will help us out, but certainly not enough grip out there. Don't want to get all out on the dust and the marbles. Of course, let's not forget as well, normally the sprint race in Formula 2 before F1 qualifying or free practice 3, so there's nowhere near as much rubber down as you'd hope. Now the DRS has been enabled, it is going to become a lot more tricky if you're not in the range of the car in front. Just to try and defend from the cars behind there. Battle going on now for P1. Right up at the front of the order, but is Goethe, I can't quite tell if he's still in the range of John Bennett. It's a little bit of a wobble through that final turn. Might be more under pressure from the ARTs by the time we get back round to the start-finish line. John Bennett, new fast lap of the day. Roman Stanek, though, able to go even quicker as here goes Ratomo Miata, trying to have a look back down the inside. I do like the fact in F2 the AI will be a bit more aggressive. They will try to go for moves. Everybody has got a point to prove. That seems to be the corner where we are very, very good on the exit. And again, Jack Crawford will try to defend the inside line. See if we can just control our braking a little bit more this time and try to stick around the outside of the American. And look at that then, right around the outside through turn 12. A bit of a wall of death type scenario there as all Crawford. Got to make sure I give him the room on the exit. Luckily, on the outside line there, not a chance he finds the grip. And we are up another one. Oh my, what on earth is going on up there? I think they're 3 wide now for the lead of the race. As I think that's Gabriele Mini trying to put someone down towards the wall in towards turn 1. Richard Verschoor, Pepe Marti, John Bennett, all now trying to get involved in the fight at the front. And well, this is just allowing everybody else to get a little bit closer as well then at this stage. Still side by side as we wind our way in towards the S's there, as I think Gabriele Mini has hung on just ahead of Pepe Marti. But I mean, look at that. Your top 7 now, basically nose to tail, as you got yellow flags out behind. I don't know who that is potentially with issues. I think that might be an ART. No, I don't know who it is. It's definitely someone with a mechanical failure. Is that a Prima? No, it's Rafael Villagomez, the Van Amersfoort man. Our first retirement of the night. Well, this is where just having that slightly more front wing, rear wing really does help out as we make our way down in towards Sector 3. We've got a little bit more bite. We're able to stick beneath the cars in front. Not going to allow us to be close enough to have a look for a run on Amaury Cordial unless we can take him by surprise, which is exactly what we'll do there, down the inside of the Belgium at the final corner, and we will force our way through. Maybe a little bit more aggressive than what Leo Fornaroli might normally go for, but I want to get into the fight at the front.
We're increasing our gap on the car behind by around a second a lap.
I mean, they are battling so aggressively up there. Again, Pepe Marti trying to look around the outside through turn 1. And again, Gabriele Mini trying to hang it there. Will he be able to get the power down off of that first corner? Or will it be the Spaniard that moves up through? I think surely Pepe Marti around the outside this time around will make it happen. They're still side by side. As there you go. Gabriele Mini forced to back out of that one. I mean, again, look, when they get all slowed up behind each other, how much grip we've got in this Invicta. We've got to use it to the outside of Ollie Goethe. We don't know how many opportunities there'll be when we head into the main event tomorrow. And up then into 5th. I mean, this is being run on 110 AI. And, well, I think if they weren't battling so intensely at the front of the order, I think the AI would have a bit more speed in this race. As through the final corner again, Gabriele Mini and Pepe Marti, they must have spent about half this race side by side so far. There's Ollie Goethe potentially trying to have a look back for a move in towards turn 1. No, can't quite get the legs on me that time round. As Mini will hang on. And look at that, John Bennett now trying to claim 2nd place here. So will this provide the Prima man with an opportunity to try and scamper away and build up a bit of a lead? Only time will tell there as Marty and Bennett still wheel to wheel. There's all Richard Verschoor there forced to back out of it. We want to try and look around the outside of the Dutchman. But not quite able to make that happen then, as winding our way through once more. Oh, it's just like trying to hug that apex as best as you can. See everybody getting the cars wedged out over the curbing. And is for sure going to open up the door on the inside. No, not quite. Could not get the speed there to get the run, to have a look for it. That is Gabriele Mini's opportunity. This is his window to try and run away then from everybody else, as John Bennett wants to try and make a move for P2 then against Pepe Marti, who really now seems to be struggling on from attack to defence rather quickly in this race. Let's try and have a look potentially around the outside of Richard Verschoor. Well, through the final corner, bit of a snap of oversteer once again. And Richard Verschoor will hang on to it for now. But look at this, John Bennett go around the outside. Could Verschoor make it 3 wide in towards turn 1? He's certainly going to try and muscle his way in, as Pepe Marti really on the back foot now. As down through turn 1 and turn 2 yet again. He's been overtaken around the outside a couple of times through there. Will he be able to get the run this time round on Verschoor? I'm just going to try and back out of it as best as I can there, as Verschoor compromises his line. Oh, we made contact with the Dutchman there. We slapped the wall. Ollie Goethe able to get back through.
That's us down a place.
But somehow we've avoided any major damage there, and one small snap of oversteer can make all the difference in these races. Somehow we live to fight another day though, and I don't know if Goethe has picked up damage in all of that, but our top 4 cars now probably escaping for good late on in the sprint race. I mean, we've made a lot of progress. I really don't think we can complain with a P6 or a P5 result from 11th on the grid here. We will have been one of the biggest movers, I would imagine, in this race anyway, but really trying to attack the curb there. Look at the run we were able to get on Ollie Goethe. I wonder, yeah, like I said, if he does have a little bit of front wing damage, let's try to give him a big old squeeze down this back straight. Surely we will make it through as we wiggle and wind down in towards the final sector, but we have done it. Well, with 2 laps to go then, Richard Verschoor really seems to be struggling now, as Jack Crawford trying to look around my outside, and here comes Amaury Cordial as well. Max Esterson seems to have pulled over late on in the day, but yeah, Richard Verschoor though getting disconnected from that P2 battle with Pepe Marti and John Bennett. It looks like Gabriele Mini though, ignoring any errors or anything like that, should be home safe and sound now. As well, these super soft tyres, they are feeling sketchy towards the end of this sprint race there. Huge snap as we try and wind our way through. But I mean, look at that. We've taken nearly a second out of Verschoor through those first couple of corners there. I know that's our strongest sector of the lap. But yeah, the Dutchman really struggling late on in this sprint race then. So, yeah, no idea what's happened to him. Must have picked up damage there as well. That's not what I needed to do. But I joined him in the damage club. It's just a little snap coming from the back end of the car there. So difficult to try and correct. They can be very, very sharp and pointy at the front end, these F2 machines. Well, let's just see then with some slipstream from Richard Verschoor. Look how much we can gain. And we've got a bit of a defense as well from Crawford and Amory Cordial in towards the final lap here. And I mean, look at that. Gabriele Mini at the front even has dropped back now into the clutches of John Bennett. So it looks like we could have a battle for the top 3 spots here. But that is not going to be the fight that we're going to be involved in here unless something crazy happens. As Verschoor defends the inside line and Jack Crawford senses an opportunity to try and make the move happen. 1 lap to go then of this F2 sprint race. And we've had a pretty good climb up through the field today. But can we get any more for it? Is Richard Verschoor again might just have enough to defend in towards turn 1. We will try and defend from Jack Crawford there. Swing the car out through the exit of the corner and get across his nose. But surely now we've got to try and find an opportunity. It might come at the final corner of the lap. 26 turns, of course, before that last one here around this Jeddah circuit. But just look at how little Richard Verschoor's got. I mean, he's kicking the back end out in that MP Motorsport car. He has got nothing towards the end of this race. Is John Bennett now up into P1 apparently? Just cannot quite get the momentum down in towards turn 12. I don't want to go for like a late braking maneuver there. I just do not feel confident. Sort of sliding the rear of the car down the exit wall of turn 12 as well. That wall of death on the outside here. But we need to try and get a good run on the shore as we try and hop a wheel up over the curbing. See, he got into the wall there on the exit of the corner. Oh, Richard Verschoor, pick a line, buddy. Gotta give me some room to try and be able to go for something. Surely we can't have a look down the inside here. No, we'll back out of it. But Crawford doesn't want to wait either, as we need to try and get a big run down in towards the final corner of this race. It is going to come down to the final corner. It looks like it's going to come down to the final corner for the win as well. Are we going to be able to do anything against Richard Verschoor? He will defend the inside line. Here comes Crawford, though, 3 wide for P4, right towards the end of the race there. Verschoor's got nothing on the inside. Can we get the power down on the exit? I think Verschoor's hung on just ahead of Jack Crawford here. It is going to be Bennett that takes the win. We will come through for 4th.
And that's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
This has been truly remarkable. It's the win for John Bennett.
It might not be the same points as the feature race, but it is the same podium, and they get to wave at the fans from it.
And it's time now for the podium celebrations, and how well deserved is this one? This is a team all about giving talented young drivers an opportunity to race and to win. Van Amersfoort are your winners here today.
Well, there we are then. I don't think anybody would have put their money on that heading into this race, but that is the magic of Formula 2. John Bennett takes the win, 2 tenths clear of Gabriele Mini, with Pepe Marti in 3rd there. A further 6 seconds behind, we come through for P4, just hanging on ahead of Richard Verschoor and Jack Crawford there, and then you can see Rotoma Miata will pick up that final point from today's sprint race. Goethe disappointed, I'm sure, to drop back right at the end, just ahead of Victor Martins and Roman Stanek there. But Kushmaini and, of course, Arvid Lindblad are both unable to score. And yeah, Max Esterson and Rafael Villagomez both getting mecha-chromed this time out. What does that do to our championship? Well, it means now we are up to P2 then, just ahead of Gabriele Mini. Still 6 points back behind Arvid Lindblad, but we could definitely try and take the lead of the World Championship if things go our way. Victor Martins, though, he is going to be the one to watch out for as we head into the main event. As constructors-wise there, we are still in 3rd, just ahead of Dams and Prema. Thank you all so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and we'll be back very soon when Formula 2 returns here for the feature.